Are you an avid ARPG fan, an old school player of Diablo, or a Path of Exile enjoyer, but you also think, hey, Honey Select do be kinda bossing though for real, no cap? Well, good news, because a new MMO has just dropped that may fit the bill. Enter a world with a unique story. Play as the warrior of the Chosen One and battle demons, featuring an antagonist based off the developers having googled the phrase anime antagonist, a community where players leave legitimate feedback saying they cannot lay the pipe often enough, and a world where you can wield the strongest weapon of all, your wallet. This is Lost Ark. Okay, I'm just joking. Well, a little bit anyway. So this isn't going to be a review or should you play, a critique of the gameplay or anything like that. It's more of something which is a recurring theme with MMOs and new releases, a series of trends, if you will. The MMO scene over the past 12 months has seen more activity and life than it has for a very, very long time. And Lost Ark is the latest in the release of very successful MMO launches to further ingrain certain gameplay characteristics as normal or to be expected, whilst at the same time showing that there is an ever-growing demand for games of this type, and that there is clearly a massive player base worldwide who are looking for a fresh experience to get stuck into. In fact, for myself and Lost Ark, I'm not sure if it's for me at this point. I'm not too drawn in by the combo of the isometric view and action combat, and it's quite important you like both of those two things if you're gonna like Lost Ark. And that's fine, I don't have to like it. In the past, I've tried games which were immensely popular, and frankly, I never found the appeal. And instead of saying to myself, well, I realize this isn't for me, I instead tried to rationalize how come so many other people like this thing but I don't, and then tried to continually find the positives that they were describing, as if I was in the wrong for not liking something which so many other people do who typically like the same things as me. And that's one of the funny things about MMOs. Within the genre, there are so many different styles of art, story, combat, camera, and so on that people will vehemently defend as the best, even to the point of getting very tribal and offended if somebody objects to their take on something. Investing hundreds or thousands of hours into one game will do that to you, I suppose. I believe overall we are a very large but very divided community. Take the MMORPG subreddit, for example. The most upvoted post ever is saying how much of a terrible job the whole subreddit does for actual discussion, and I don't think I've ever seen another community that consistently has large threads with many or sometimes even hundreds of comments that don't show any upvotes whatsoever, because every second topic posted is considered controversial by Reddit. There are so many opinions, so many people literally writing pages upon pages of comments. So few people can agree on anything. It's more than just a Reddit being Reddit as well, though r/MMORPG is definitely a special place, I'll give you that. Anyways, Lost Ark. It's been a super interesting launch to watch and follow along with for several reasons. As for how the game does in 3 months' time, we will see about that. Regardless though, it shows some strong positives as well as a few downsides. Let's start with the good. Lost Ark shows the power of a finished product, and that it is worth the time to get something in a state where it's ready to go and not to rush it out to try and get money back from a project which has run way over its budget. A delayed game is eventually good, but a rushed game is forever bad. Lost Ark released in Korea on December 4th, 2019. Its official release in NA and EU was February 11th, 2022. That is exactly 800 days time passed, or 2 years and just over 2 months worth of time. Time to launch, test, update, improve, refine, and eventually deliver a much more complete product at the end. I hope that Lost Ark continues to do well in the West because of this. It shows that the time to polish an MMO and make sure it's ready for launch, even though it's in a different region, is time well spent in the long run. Different regions are of course different scenarios, but that duration between one launch and the next will have delivered a very different game at the end of it, I'm sure. Next positive is there is nothing quite like the launch and the levels of hype that surround an MMORPG. You would think we are a smaller player base, that it wasn't what it was 10 years ago, but I think it's been seeing a resurgence over the past 12 months. And I know what you're thinking, copium MMOs are back, but that's how conditioned the player base is to pessimism. Okay, fine, it's not without reason, but still, a lot has happened within the past year. World of Warcraft has taken a hit, Final Fantasy XIV explodes in popularity, Endwalker does great, New World was initially good, not so much anymore, Microsoft buys Activision Blizzard, and now Lost Ark has a hugely successful launch in the West. We then have the Guild Wars 2 expansion, ESO, when the likes of old school RuneScape are doing strong. There is so much choice. People want these types of games, new experiences. People are interested in MMORPGs. So let's look at some numbers to back this up a little bit then. Lost Ark appears to still be on the upwards trend in terms of searches online. I'd have thought it would surpass what New World was able to achieve. Whatever it peaks to will happen once data is out for the recent weekend, and perhaps over the next one as well. Now, Twitch above any other platform has to be taken with a very, very, very large grain of salt when it comes to viewership. Lost Ark, much like New World, is in part published by Amazon Game Studios. This means once again they have the best routes to advertise through streamers on Twitch, and that they will be paying large streamers to come and show the game on stream and to give it a go for a certain number of hours. I fully believe still that streamers are one of the most cost-efficient means of advertising a new game. Twitch also does drops. Link your game to Twitch, watch a stream for 4 hours or whatever it may be, and then claim an item in-game. This means a lot of people are AFKing in several different streams at once to try and farm drops. It boosts your viewership by a lot. Finally, embedded viewers. Not as many people do this though. Say you have a website which isn't Twitch, where when somebody visits it, it has a stream in the corner that starts playing. You are now going to count as a viewer on that stream for Twitch, which pumps up their numbers considerably artificially. Nevertheless, Lost Ark has peaked to a very impressive 1.2 million viewers. New World didn't break the 1 million mark. In fact, Lost Ark peaked higher on Twitch than Cyberpunk did, which got 1.1 million. I'm not sure that this reflects well on Twitch's incentives for viewers as opposed to actual interest in the game, but it's big number, and largely speaking, big number is good. It takes something special, whatever you may think, to break the 1 million mark. Wait and see what Elden Ring can pull off later this month. Perhaps the best and most accurate stats we can see is from Steam itself. It's not just all the questionable views on Twitch or the not yet complete trend data, these are the real deal. Lost Ark has overtaken CSGO and is now the game with the second highest peak player base ever on Steam, seeing some 1.3 million concurrent active users. It's going to have a sharp drop off, that's just the nature of MMOs, this is what they do. But to see a game attract this degree of attention from a source like this tells you people are after the type of experience that they can offer. And as mentioned at the start, people have so many different ideas for MMOs, but the chance for a studio to pour tens of millions of dollars and potentially over half a decade into your dream MMO template is not worth waiting for. You can live with those past memories of what you found amazing over a decade ago and say time and again how nothing will ever match it, because chances are for you nothing ever will live up to the template you're putting those experiences on. If you like a game, give it a go. There's probably something in it. Oh, and of course in Lost Ark's case, it's free, which moves us on to the second part of the video, the not so good stuff. Okay, let's count them together. Pay for convenience. There are auras to make certain activities more accessible, easier, or you can do them more often. Pay to skip. You can skip daily events through bought cash shop items. Pay to win. You can directly buy currency for trading or turn cash shop items into gold. Fear of missing out. A rotating limited time cash shop with reduced prices. And RNG. Certain cash shop items have variants on their contents. We have all fishing lines out into the water for the whales on this one. It feels like it's been one step forwards and 2 steps back. When New World was prior to launching, the devs mentioned considering items in the cash shop such as trade skill or experience boosters, and they were hit with a huge amount of backlash at this decision, and it eventually launched with only cosmetics. The main grievances raised at the time were centered around, if you're selling boost on launch for XP, why not just shorten the leveling journey if you already think it's grindy enough to justify that? You've created time gates or ways to slow players down, and you're selling them the answer for real money. These aren't problems the game has, they are problems you have made, and yet here's Lost Ark dropping with its mega cash shop. But before you say it, yes, WoW has the token. I know I talked about it not so long ago at length, and I think there's negatives for the game too. But if the village next to me starts beheading people for not holding the door open for others, whilst not totally unreasonable, that doesn't mean I should have to be checking my back for grannies with tomahawks when I'm at Tesco. What I mean is, because something is bad somewhere else doesn't mean it has to be bad here too. But it's free. Yes. Servers are not hosted and updates are not created on goodwill alone. Gaming wouldn't be anywhere near as developed were it not profitable. In fact, the game being free makes some of these things normal to me, those being the cosmetics and the auras, aka pay for convenience. Why is that okay here? Well, have you ever played RuneScape? Do you play it without membership? You can make a trial account on World of Warcraft to test your classes. There isn't much to the game, but it's there, I suppose. It just feels like their version of a membership for the standard version of the game. And if I was playing it longer term, I would get it, because I actually believe in paying for stuff I enjoy where I can. This may be a crazy concept, but if something can keep me entertained for hours and I gain value from it, I've no problem giving back. If the game had a sub fee or was buy to play, I wouldn't feel the same way though. Monetization has constantly been a pain point for MMOs, and I feel Lost Ark has gone under the radar a bit because less was expected from it in the first place. Why? It's a Korean MMO. This is what Korean MMOs do. Things are different there. Monetization policies that would be considered very aggressive in the West are commonplace. It's a different culture and a different player base. But by the looks of it, if you can deliver a fun, polished, complete product that can entertain and get people through the door for free, you can get away with a lot more. Imagine if New World was open in a different region for 2 years before NA and EU's launch. You think it would be a better game? You think the cash shop would have a lot more things in it than it currently does? Think it probably would, you know. Still, Lost Ark's success is only good for the MMO scene. Despite the shop, I hope to see it do well and provide a new main game for many. If you've given it a go at all and you have any strong thoughts on Lost Ark, let me know. As for the subject of the video, it was a bit around the game rather on the game itself. Maybe I will give it a bit more time after all though. As always, thank you all so much for watching and listening in, and I shall see you all in the next one very soon.